Welcome to the Kate Molland channel. My podcast is now in progress. Let's tune in.
Congratulations, Jason, on your second book. I did get a copy and found it at Barnes & Noble. I thoroughly enjoyed it and understand there is a part 2 in the works. When will that be released?
I'm not going to tell you unless you promise to read that one also. You gonna read that?
I will read it. I'm excited for it.
Okay, we're looking at 3 days minimum, 7 days maximum. And as soon as that book is ready, I will send you a link, and that is a promise.
Yes, please. I am certainly excited. But I am curious about something. Who wrote the second book? Because I noticed your daughter's name as the accredited author. Can you explain that?
Yes, I can. This all began with me and my daughter at my storage, and she's rummaging through everything. She is looking at some of the antique pictures, some things that my father brought in from Egypt that she wanted to own. Then she starts opening up my file boxes, and she starts to discover a lot of unpublished manuscripts and screenplays. And then she notices the transcripts from my old radio show, New Incentives, from Cheerleading AM radio. And she goes, "Dad, why are all these documents sitting here in a file box? Don't you understand that people would be very interested in reading all of this insight that you only published on radio? We've got to put this in book form. If that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it. But somewhere in the foreword or somewhere in the introduction, you can comment on the fact that these were manuscripts that I've written. Are you okay with that?" And she said that was fine. As of right now, we're looking at approximately 25 books in the making. This is book number 3. So now we're looking at maybe another 22 books to follow, just as fast as my daughter can format them and publish them. And I'm actually looking forward to it.
That must be a dream job for you to collaborate with your daughter, Megan, writing so many books together.
To me, it's a dream job, but you talk about dream jobs. I've been looking at your resume. Let me ask you this question. How on earth did you become a cheerleader in a parade in France? First of all, what city in France was this?
The parade was in Chantilly.
And how far is that from Paris?
Not very far. It's a very quick drive.
Okay. What was the parade celebrating?
New Year's. So I got to go to France in the winter over New Year's.
Okay. What was the weather like?
Snowy. It actually snowed the first night we were there.
And describe your uniform.
It was, a cheer sweater and a cheer skirt. And then we wore nude colored hose and, tennis shoes, socks, and pom-poms.
Did you say to yourself, is this a dream, me being a cheerleader in a parade in France?
It's just, it's something that's like magical because you don't see how you're going to get somewhere and then you end up there and it's nowhere you ever thought you would be.
And that's just for starters. Then from there, a couple of years later, you're in the Rose Bowl parade. And were you a cheerleader there also?
Yes, I was in the Tournament of Roses parade. And yes, I was technically a cheerleader. My dance team that also cheered at football games, we got to be part of the Rose Parade experience.
Okay, now that to me would be 2 dream jobs. One, cheerleader in Paris, France, cheerleader in the Rose Bowl parade. And we're going to have to set some time to let the viewers know step by step how you did that. We won't do that today, of course, because I do want to find out more about how you, I understand, worked your way into becoming a page at NBC. And you got a chance to be a page at The Tonight Show when Jay Leno was hosting the show.
Yes, not to date myself, but yes, I was part of the Page program.
Date yourself. This is a dream job. Who cares about the date?
It was...
My goodness. Well, first of all, you were part of the Page program, I understand.
Yes, now, on the West Coast in Los Angeles.
Okay. Now, was that a difficult program to get into?
It is extremely competitive. So I feel very fortunate to have been selected for the Page program at NBC.
Okay, and we can talk about how you got in, which strategies you use at another time. But let's talk about The Tonight Show. So when you realized that they were going to assign you to The Tonight Show for the first time, what was going through your mind?
I was so excited because, Jay Leno is a fixture. He's the comedian I grew up with on late night TV. Mm-hmm. So for me to, work in that capacity and see the show, live to tape in front of a studio audience and like see these actors and see these musicians. It was very exciting. You have musicians that are like breaking in, and so they have to, be on the show to peddle their product.
I got you.
And, I have so many great memories of musical acts that I got to watch.
Okay, now did you ever get a chance to meet Jay Leno?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
And so if he saw you today, he'd remember you.
I don't know. It's been a hot minute, but
oh, goodness.
if I grab the photos and show them,
then it might come back to him.
I look better with age too.
I got you, because I can guarantee you that if I saw Sylvester Stallone, he would definitely remember me, because when you look at the tape of our encounter, how could he ever forget? But it's not about me. We're talking about you right now. So when you were on the Tonight Show as a page, did you like escort the audience members to their seats and in the right seats, or how did that work?
Yeah, we did help with seating. So seating is a science. So we worked with their coordinator that worked for the show to make sure that the seating got filled in a orderly fashion. Mm-hmm. And so that was really an important component.
Did you ever get people that tried to sneak up to the front row? Because I noticed that when the Tonight Show started, Jay Leno would walk out to the audience and shake hands with everybody or slap five or whatever.
Yes.
Did you ever have issues where people were way in the back and ran all the way down to the front? Or
yeah, there's always security concerns, but we staged it a certain way to get a really good visual every night.
Oh, okay. Now, did you ever have any problems with any of the guests? Were they pretty much mostly laid back? Because I noticed that sometimes there'd always be a line outside NBC studios just before the Tonight Show doors would open up. And that line that was out there, was there ever any trouble outside, any pushing and any shoving, anybody sneaking ahead of each other, anything like that?
Oh, absolutely. Depending on who Jay was having on the show on any given night would really determine the flow of traffic out on the street lining up for the show. And when you would have a big act, like maybe a Justin Timberlake come on, you would have girls that would sleep outside on the street all night because they want to be up front. Like they want to see Justin. So, and you would have people that would try to cut. You would have people who maybe one person was responsible to stay in the line and then let their friends come later. So it's just trying to manage all of those expectations and be fair to everybody who's been waiting.
Now, did NBC ever play favorites? Meaning, did they reserve those front row, first, second, and third rows maybe to certain individuals, certain invites?
It's a trade secret. But
okay, well, I'm going to tell you this.
What have you seen?
I was a media buyer, and I would buy airtime for my clients. And they specifically told me, or at least the AE, the account execs, would tell me, I can seat you up front. They would tell me that. Now, I never took advantage of it, but they definitely told me that.
So I will say that every night there's going to be guests of the company, guests of the production, guests of NBC who are going to have seats reserved. And then,
you know what? I do take it back. I did go. I did experience.
Okay.
I said, you know what? But here, let me clarify that.
Okay.
I did experience it when Johnny Carson had the show. Not Jay Leno. It was Johnny Carson and me and Sylvia at the time. We did we weren't in the front row, but we were in the second row.
Okay.
And I can still remember everybody was there. Ed McMahon was there. Doc Severinsen was there. Johnny Carson was there. And I can't remember his guest. You know why? Because Sammy Davis outshone all the guests.
Okay.
So with Sammy Davis there, a member of the Rat Pack, the Frank Sinatra Rat Pack, because they were all alive at the time, he was mesmerizing, singing his Candyman song or whatever the case may be. So yes, I was there. I did experience it, but not with Jay Leno, with Johnny Carson. Let's clear that up. Now you may continue.
Okay, so there are guests of the production and guests of the guests that are on the show and guests of the network.
That's a lot of guests.
Yeah. So
you're not guessing, are you?
No, I'm not guessing at the guests. And so there are reserved seats, but then, depending on who's in line, we may have people who we want to seat in certain areas. And I can say that I got to attend the show as a guest because I wanted to not work when Justin Timberlake was performing. I wanted to enjoy Justin Timberlake's performance.
Understandable.
So I got seated in a certain area that may have been close to the front, in those rows that you speak of.